YouTube vinyl community, Beach Boys fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens. Hey, how's it going, guys? We're here today to talk about the Beach Boys' 1982 greatest hits album, Sunshine Dream, released on Capitol Records. Now, I did make a video recently about Spirit of America where I was like, well, I'm not going to talk about Sunshine Dream for a while. And then I was like, let's just do it, what the heck. So, this copy is in fact a Canadian copy. It says 2 disc records up there. Canadian copy, but same thing. Same track listing, same everything. Except for the inner sleeves. The American inner sleeves are purple. These are just plain old, boring white. So, this copy in particular, I do have an American copy, but I wanted to hold the Canadian one just because it's cool. Just make a difference. But this thing has seen better days. It's pretty, as the American pickers would say, it's pretty roached out on the bottom there. It must have been in someone's basement and just kind of got a little bit, a little bit floody at some point. But I still like it. The vinyl plays immaculately. It's just the jacket's a little beat up. I cleaned it as best as I could. You might be wondering, why do I talk about so many Beach Boys' greatest hits on this channel? Well, because 1, I want to, and 2, because there's a reason why I talk about each album. I don't just come on here and say, it's really good, and then turn the video off. Like, I talk about the era that's happening about the Beach Boys and, maybe why this was released or why you would think you'd want to hear it. So, that's what we're doing here today on the Beach Boys channel. And there's another one back there. In 1982, the Beach Boys camp was an absolute shambles. The whole thing was a mess. In 1981, Carl left the band. He was like, you know what? I'm fed up with this. We keep making music that isn't that great. We know we can do better, and we're not doing it. And so with his, creative efforts not being put to use, he was like, you know what? I'm going to make my own album. See you later. And he goes and writes the song Heaven, which is like, holy crap. Yeah, really good stuff. So he runs away and does his own thing. Dennis is having a hard time with his alcohol and his drug addictions, as is Brian. And Mike is like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. So he has this, like, Endless Summer Beach Band, I think they were called, which is, like, to me, that just screams Las Vegas show tunes act to me. But, so he was doing that. And who knows what Al was up to. But, so the group was completely distraught. And by 1982, things were getting a little bit better. Carl decided to rejoin the group. Dennis was having a little bit of his ups and downs, so he was kind of being there a little bit more than he had been before. His boat was repossessed in 1981 because he wasn't paying, payments for the thing, and between all of his addictions, he wasn't coming to shows a lot. And the guys actually replaced Carl in 1981 with a guy who was like in a Beach Boys tribute band or something. I forget his name, but they basically had someone who sounded like Carl do his parts, which to me is like, nope. Just have Al sing those parts or something. Like, no, don't do that. But like, people were upset. They'd go to a Beach Boys concert and there's no Wilsons there. It's Bruce, Mike, and Al, and they're like, all right, well, at least one Wilson would be nice. Again, in 1982, Brian at this point had been completely checked out. He was well over 300 pounds, completely on the verge of just like, this could be it. People were like, he could be following Elvis here pretty soon. And the guys were like, we gotta get him back to Landy, because in the 70s, Landy did a great job with him. They got him pretty skinny. He got off the drugs. He got back in the studio. It worked. So they came up with this idea to be like, hey, Brian, you're actually broke, and also you're out of the band. On November 5th, 1982, they had a meeting with him. They're like, Brian, you're out. Brian had no idea this was all part of Landy's plan, and the Beach Boys management, Carl, and a bunch of people. They set up this whole thing to get Brian back in the care of Landy, to go shipped off to Hawaii and lose a bunch of weight, get off drugs, and become, a much healthier version of Brian that has basically been there ever since. So, 1982, the Beach Boys kick out Brian Wilson, and they send him off to Hawaii. Like, what a year. And then this thing's called Sunshine Dream. Like, what a happy title for such a awful thunderstorm of a band. A band that's completely falling apart. There's lawsuits flying all over the place. No one's happy. People aren't getting paid. People are getting fired. There's people trying to sue somebody else. Like, what a disaster. Just a mess of crap at this point. you hear something like Sunshine Dream, it's like, yeah, that was a dream. Remember when Sunshine was there? That was a dream. That's a memory. No one's happy right now. Everyone wishes they were dreaming, but they're not. So, regardless, the Beach Boys had absolutely nothing to do with this album in particular. It was just Capitol's way of being like, hey, we put out that Beach Boys medley 45 last year. I guess we should put it on an album. And they did. That medley, by the way, in 1981, hit number 12 on the charts. Number 12. Can you believe that? I think at that time, these medleys were like a thing to do. Like the Beatles one had the Beach Beatles. The Beatles movie medley was like a single that was pretty popular at the time. So Capitol was like, let's do it again and try it with the Beach Boys. So they put God Only Knows on the back and put this conglomeration of, a mashup of some of their songs as one long track. And it hit number 12. So who knows? The weird thing that I do want to mention about that is they're seen on American Bandstand, I think in 1981, and then again later on, performing this. This is interesting because they were not on Capitol Records anymore and had not been for well over a decade. Why were they on American Bandstand promoting a song they had no say in the creation of, and why do they even care? Like, they weren't going to make a whole lot of money. Well, I guess they probably would make royalties off it, but wouldn't it be, like, awkward? Hey, record company we're with now, we're going to go promote this other song that's with a different record company that we used to be with. It's like talking to a current girlfriend and being like, I'm going to go hang out with my ex-girlfriend for a while because, like, things are looking really good over there. It's kind of weird. So I don't know why they felt the need to promote that 45 when Capitol could have done just putting it on the radio and being like, well, this is it. So again, more mystery in the Beach Boys world. So yeah, the reason why I did want to talk about this album though is because, throughout the 1970s, the Beach Boys albums on Capitol in the 60s were deleted. You could not find them. They came out with these like really cheap reissues like called Fun 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 or California Girls, which I have hanging up on my wall up there. There was also Dance 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 and All Summer Long, which kept the actual title. But basically they were like broken down versions of those albums with different cover artwork. And they did this for a lot of other people like Patsy Cline, a handful of others. But they had this like cheesy border. They opened from, the covers were like switched. I don't understand who in the marketing department was like, oh, let's just do that because it looks dumb. But basically, that was it. If you were a Beach Boys fan in the 70s, you either bought their new albums on Warner's or bought these crappy, half-baked reissues from Capitol. In the early mid-70s, the Beach Boys they had the rights to their post-Pet Sound stuff up to 1970. So they did those reissues, with Smiley Smile and Friends, and then Wild Honey in 2020, I think were on like a double album set. So they had those. They did reissue Pet Sounds. So you were able to buy those albums, but if you wanted the original ones on Capitol, either the used bins or your SOL, you're not going to get them. So for a lot of people, this may have been the first time they ever heard songs like Be Here in the Morning or I Can Hear Music or hell, even Caroline No. This may have been the first introduction to those songs because this was the only thing that Capitol had with these songs on it since the original releases in the 60s. So, they had reissued some of the earlier albums. And then those exact reissues I talked about before, like Fun 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 and California Girls, they ended up reissuing those again, but with the original artwork with the new title on them. So I have a cassette version of California Girls with the, you know what? I'm just going to walk over and grab it. Here's this cover right here. Here's this cover right here. And here I am back. All right. So, California Girls. If you can see that. It's supposed to be summer days and summer nights, but California Girls. So, they had the orange covered one, which is a picture of them like sitting on a log in a pond, looking unhappy. And then they came out with this, which was the exact same album again, minus several tracks. But this is just called California Girls. So, kind of cool. A little bit of trivia there. Other than that, everything post Pet Sounds never got reissued again. That was it. Done. Never came out in Capitol. So in the 70s, you had this to look forward to in 1982. Beyond that, the track listing on this thing is amazing. I probably wouldn't do the order that it's in. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But, I mean, you have Vegetables, How She Boogalooed It, or yeah, Vegetables, I guess you could call it. How She Boogalooed It, Be Here in the Morning, Friends. There's some great songs on here. The big thing about this album, though, I do want to mention, is the sound. It sounds phenomenal. I don't know who mixed it. I don't know what source they used for these things, if they used the original masters or what they did. I really feel like a lot of it is actually in mono, especially songs like, I think Here Today is on here. Yeah, Here Today is the second song. We hear all the talking in the background, the mono version. It sounds unbelievable. It's one of the best Beach Boys sounding records I've ever had. Especially songs like All I Want to Do. And I keep mentioning Be Here in the Morning, but like, holy crap, it sounds great. This is worth it to pick up just for the sound. I mean, it's kind of fun to own. I mean, the artwork is by the same guy, Keith McConnell. He did the same artwork as the other two albums. Not the most inspired album artwork. Still kind of cool nonetheless, and some, good shots of the guys in there, but I'll show you the label. They are on the purple Capitol label of the time. So, early 80s Capitol. This is like just before they came back with the color band too, so that would have been kind of cool to see the color band. But yeah, the American ones come in a purple inner sleeve, which I could dig out, but it's over there, and I'm over here. I already ran to get the cassette tape. Yeah, I really do love this album, though. I mean, you can't go wrong with the songs on here. It's just a great set, and it's got good vibrations on it. So I mean, it's got that going for it. So it's not like it's just a bunch of leftovers. You have, Darlin', God Only Knows, Sloop John B, Do It Again, I'm Waiting for the Day, Cotton Fields, Heroes and Villains. Like, there's some big songs on this thing. And they did do a pretty good promotional blitz for this thing too. I've seen a bunch of ads where they showed the cover, and they had all the other albums you could buy at the time, which mostly were reissues. But yeah, kind of cool. Totally non-essential to anybody's collection unless you just collect Beach Boys stuff. But sound-wise, if you come across this thing for cheap, it won't cost you too much. But if you come across it, pick it up and then put it on. The sound will blow you away. It just sounds freaking great. I don't know who was behind the sound, who mastered it, who mixed it, whatever. I don't know. But that person or people did a great job. It sounds great. I cannot stress that enough. It sounds great. So pick it up if you find it just for that alone. The separation in the stereo and the sound, holy crap. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Like, this came out in one of the worst years of the Beach Boys' lives. As a group, but and it went completely unnoticed. I think it peaked at like 156 or 158 or something on the charts. Again, no one bought it. No one was buying Beach Boys albums. They just wanted to see them in concert and hear the oldies. Like surf stuff. So like an album like this just wouldn't appeal to the common fan. This is a hardcore Beach Boys fan album, and that's it. So. Kind of a short video, but I just wanted to talk about this thing. I think it's cool. I think it's fun to have. And if you want to hear some of these songs sound great, buy this album. So that's it. This has been Beach Boys' Sunshine Dream 1982 in June. I can't find an exact date. June of 82, this thing came out. And that's it. My name is Giggens. This has been Album Reviews with me, with the Beach Boys, with a Sunshine Dream. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.